So this is after all the small
Right.
talk?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So when's the last time you spoke to anyone from Prudential?
I think the day that my policy was delivered 9 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember who that was?
No idea. Actually, I can't even remember the guy's first name.
Okay.
Big bald guy.
Well, hey, at least you remember something.
Yeah, I think it's from New Hartford or something like that.
Okay. All right. To kind of give you an idea, so you have this policy, you haven't spoken to anyone in
Right.
a while. I've been taken over as your new advisor on your account. So what I do with everyone in your situation, have a policy with us, haven't spoken to anyone in a while, is get to know what your situation is. I'll ask you some questions, get to know exactly how this policy that you have fits into your current situation.
Okay.
So that way, if there are any ideas or recommendations, they'll be appropriate for your situation.
Makes sense.
Sound fair?
Yep.
Okay. Before I get into the basics, any specific questions that you had or wanted to make sure that we covered?
No, I just, like I said on the phone, I know that we're up against it with this thing. It's going to be running out and starting to get more expensive, so I just want to kind of see what the options are there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and we'll definitely go over that.
Okay.
And definitely take care of that.
Okay.
So we'll dive in here, ask you some questions. We'll start with the basics first.
Sure.
I got all your date of birth. You married?
Yeah.
Yeah? How long?
13 years.
13.
Almost 14.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Doing well?
Yeah. As well as you can for 14
Right.
years of marriage.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good. What's your wife's name?
Sarah, with an H.
With an H. There you go. How'd you guys meet?
We actually met in high school.
Okay.
We didn't date in high school. She's a couple years younger than me. We went to the same college, and we actually started dating my senior year of college. So
Really?
yeah, so I've known her forever.
Trying to experience college and then.
I tried to. Yeah.
Gotcha. That's
Yeah.
good. Okay. What's her date of birth?
4/11/81.
And what does she do for work?
She is the international customer service manager for a company called M&L International. Kind of a misleading title, but whatever.
What do you know? Like.
I tell people she's a drug dealer. It's imports, exports.
Okay.
But she actually does all import stuff. So she deals with like U.S. Customs and then a lot of ocean freight, air freight, that kind of stuff from China, India, Philippines, Vietnam. So she gets stuff across the ocean through customs and then to her clients.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Did she ever see any like smuggling, anything going on?
She hasn't run into any real issues like that, but they definitely had some issues when China had all the issues with lead in the paint that was on toys. She had a bunch of stuff held up at customs because of that. So there's been some issues, but no smoggling per se.
Okay.
Not that I know of.
Very interesting.
Maybe she's importing running guns. Who knows?
Yeah, right. You never know. How long has she been doing that for?
She's been in the industry for 10 years now, with M&L for 5.
Okay. Different company before that?
Yeah, she worked for a company, Global Logistics, before that.
Okay. But same type of work?
Yeah. Yep.
And what do you do for work?
I'm a branch manager for First Niagara, soon to be KeyBank.
Very nice.
Yeah.
How's that whole process change going?
It's nerve-wracking. First Niagara, I was an HSBCer.
Okay.
And got pulled in by First Niagara, and they really kind of got overextended. So with KeyBank, there's going to be a lot of people losing their jobs.
Okay.
Because if you take a look, every KeyBank, there's a First Niagara basically across the street.
Yep.
So they're going to take the deposits and lose the people. So they'll keep some of us, but it's a little bit of a nerve-wracking situation right now.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, that could be a mess.
It could be,
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a little while, probably 6 to 8 months before the transition really starts to happen. So.
Gotcha. Hey, it'll be here before you know it, right?
Unfortunately. Yeah.
Gotcha. And how long did you say you were at?
I've been there for 14 years.
2 years.
Yeah, right out of school.
So HSBC was completely separate from First Niagara?
First Niagara bought HSBC
Okay.
back, I don't know, probably 4 years ago now, 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah.
Okay, so it's just the transition
Yeah.
going on. Okay. Any children?
3.
3 kids.
Yeah.
What are their names?
My oldest is Molly with an IE. She's just turned 13. Avery, she's our 10-year-old, and Quinn, she's our 1-year-old.
Quin.
And 2 N's. Yep.
She's how old?
1. Just turned 1.
13, 10, and 1.
On purpose too.
Yeah?
That's my favorite part of this conversation is people's reaction to that.
Really?
They're just terrible decision makers. So.
Hey. It's something to be proud of.
It is.
It's,
Yeah, they're all
yeah.
healthy. They're good kids. So no complaints.
Good. Good. They're all doing well.
Yeah.
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 School and everything.
Yeah, we're.
Want to be astronauts or?
I don't know about that. We had one that told me she wanted to go to college and be a babysitter. So not.
Teach her a lesson or two
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
That's funny.
We'll see.
Okay. So Dave, to give you a quick idea, not sure, the last person that, gave you the term policy, how he was, but to give you an idea, Prudential, back in the day, we used to be strictly life insurance. I mean, when you see Prudential, you see the Rock. What
Right.
do you think of?
Yeah, life insurance.
Life insurance,
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
So now we kind of, life insurance is still a big piece of it, but what we do now is full financial planning.
Okay.
So it kind of switched to more towards retirement planning, investments, and the whole picture.
Gotcha.
So all of my clients, they have different goals, different priorities.
Mhm.
So every time I sit down with someone, I ask them, what's important to you?
Mhm.
So here are a list of 8 different priorities that most people have.
Mhm.
Could be one, could be more than one. Honestly, it could be done.
Sure.
Do any of those stick out to you? You have questions on?
Yeah, I think the saving or preparing for retirement is definitely on the radar now.
Okay.
Saving, investing for the future kind of feels like the same thing, but definitely that. Yeah, probably those 2.
Those 2?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we got saving, investing for the future, and preparing for retirement. Okay, so I guess preparing for retirement, saving for the future.
Mhm.
What does that look like for you now?
We're doing it. I don't know if we're doing it right, so
Yeah.
that's always a little bit of a question mark. I don't know how much of a concern it is. It's, I remember when I first started with HSBC, they said if you put in 10% of your pay, you'll be in good shape, when you retire. I don't know how true that is, but I've been putting in 10% of my pay. They give us a pretty good match.
Good.
So that's there. I feel like we're doing all the right things, but I don't know what the result's gonna be.
Okay. Yep. I get you. So you're saving, you're putting away for the future. So it sounds like you're doing a good job so far. I mean, putting 10% and getting a match. You're doing better than most people. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But as far as the retirement goes, we can kind of have a conversation a little bit down the road here.
Sure.
When it comes to investing for the future, you have your life insurance policy here with us. What we take a look at is, what are your debts, what are your assets, and then how can we position those to, again, get you ready for retirement,
Mhm.
maybe protect your family if something were to happen to you.
Okay.
So going to the life insurance side of it, you have this policy. When you first took it out, what was the main reason why you took it out?
It was one of those things. Actually, we had actually just bought our first house, so it was more one of those things. The mortgage. If I die, I wanted to have some money to pay off the mortgage. So that was kind of the intent. Now as we've had more kids, maybe it's serving a dual purpose there. But we actually didn't live in that house anymore. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But how long ago did you move?
3 years, a little over 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. Still brand new mortgage?
Yeah, so it took out a brand new mortgage 3 years ago, 30-year mortgage, bigger house. Yeah.
How much do you have in the mortgage?
How much is on the mortgage now?
Yeah.
Like 225, somewhere in that neighborhood. So
What interest rate are you paying there?
under 4, like 3 3/4.
Okay. From a debt standpoint, other than the mortgage, car loans?
Yeah, we both have car loans. We both got student loans.
Okay.
And a, you know, a small credit card.
Small credit card, okay. The cars, did you lease, you buy?
Bought 'em.
Bought 'em?
Yep.
Okay. How much are the monthly payments?
Mine's 4, hers is like 450.
How many years left?
4.
4 for both.
Yeah, we both, she actually bought hers the day I picked mine up.
Oh, yeah? Interesting how that works, right? Do you know the interest you're paying there?
They're like 3.
3? Okay, good. Okay, student loans, how much?
Not a ton.
Okay.
We both only pay like $100 a month.
Okay.
I think I got like $6,000 left, and she's got like $8,000 left.
Interest rates on those?
We consolidated those years ago, so like 2%.
2%.
Yeah.
Yeah, do some of that on mine.
Yeah.
I think I'm paying like 6%.
Goo.
Right. You mentioned credit card.
Yeah.
Do you keep like a monthly balance?
Unfortunately, this time of year we do.
Okay.
My wife does her best to keep Amazon in business. So there's like
I can relate there.
Yeah. So there's like $2,500 on that card right now, but I anticipate we'll probably have that paid off by end of January, middle of February, something in that neighborhood.
Oh, okay.
We don't typically use it unless it's you know, if it's a vacation or you know, something like that.
Around the holidays.
Holidays,
Oh,
for
yeah,
sure. Yep.
definitely.
Yep.
Okay. From a debt standpoint, any other debt? Okay. From a monthly expense budget standpoint, would you say every month you're breaking even, saving some money?
We're saving money. Yeah,
Saving
we're
money.
ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's definitely good to be in the green zone.
Yeah, not a ton, but we're saving some.
I mean, 3 kids and
Yeah.
both working, so
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to save some money.
Yep.
And now, is that outside of, you know, putting into the retirement accounts?
Yeah, I try to throw a few $100s in the savings account every month.
Okay.
You know, just to kind of create that cushion so we're not using the credit card. But, you know, stuff obviously comes up. You know.
Absolutely, life happens.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. All right, so moving on from the debt standpoint, we'll go over to some assets,
Mhm.
because everyone loves assets.
Sure.
right? From an income standpoint, are you hourly, salary?
We're both salary.
Salary? Okay. What do you bring in?
75 for me, 85 for her.
Okay. Is that gross?
That's gross, yeah.
Okay. On a monthly basis, what's your paycheck coming in?
So I get paid every 2 weeks, 3,800, I guess, would be a month.
Okay.
And she's a little over, she's about 4,400 a month. I'm trying to do math in my head.
No problem. Okay, I mean, from the looks of it, making over, you know, $150,000 upstate New York.
Yeah.
Must be doing well.
Yeah, we're doing okay.
Okay.
We're doing okay.
That's good. For emergency purposes, do you keep a savings account with the bank?
I'd love to say we do. It fluctuates. We don't use it for just emergencies, even though that's the intention.
Okay.
Usually, you know, on a good day, it's like $3,000. On a normal day, it's like $2,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And that's just a savings account, not including your checking, or is that
Correct.
total?
Yeah, no, checking, you know, checking is kind of in and out with, you know, bills and stuff like that, but we usually keep a buffer of, you know, a few $100s in there.
Okay.
Nothing crazy.
Okay. If, say, you know, you bought the house, say roof goes, how would that kind of?
Yeah, that's the stuff that makes me nervous, and fortunately, we actually just put a roof on.
Oh,
So
did you?
it's
Well,
to the tune of-
hopefully
to the
nothing
tune of
happens.
$11,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so we have built the savings up,
Okay.
used the credit card a little bit, kind of piecemealed it.
Okay.
So that's kind of how we've done it in the past. So it'll get built up to, you know, 5,000-6,000, and then when
Then
we,
something
you know,
comes up.
my wife decides she wants to put in a pool,
Okay.
or we got to put a roof on, or we got to buy gutters or whatever. So there's always something. It seems like, but yeah, so that's typically how we've addressed it. So if we do need to dip it, the credit line's pretty big. It's like a $15,000 credit line.
Okay.
So it's there if we need it. I prefer not to use it, but you know, stuff comes up.
No one wants to pay credit card companies
You got it.
insurance.
You got it.
Okay. So putting 10% away for retirement,
Mhm.
getting the match, how much, do you know how much the match is?
So, yeah, it ends up being about 6%.
6%.
Yeah.
Put 10% in, again 6%, so
Right.
saving call it 16%.
Right.
Doing well. Now is that 401k?
Yeah, 401k.
Okay. How much do you have in there total?
That's about 90 grand right
90?
now.
Very good. 36 years old. Say that doing very well.
Yeah, we're moving in the right direction.
Absolutely. A lot of people that I meet are in their 50s, 60s, don't even have that much,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
doing well there. And your wife, Sarah, she have a 401k too?
She actually doesn't have one. She doesn't have one through her employer. She had one with her previous.
Okay.
So we actually have been putting a little bit of money into a Roth IRA for her.
Okay. How did you hear about the Roth? Kind of get set up with that?
Somebody through the bank, honestly, had mentioned it, so we got it set up through Vanguard, and probably $250 a month of that.
Oh, good strategy.
Yeah.
Very nice. Vanguard is they have some good funds there too.
Yeah, they're the best.
Yeah,
Vanguard's
cheap
the
and okay, good there. The old 401k, is that kind of just still sitting there?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we never really did anything with it, and it seems to be doing fine. So
Okay.
There's like I think I don't know, 8, 10 grand in there, something like that. She wasn't there. She wasn't making a ton of money, but she was there. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Might have some recommendations for that type of account.
Okay.
Since it's still with the employer to change jobs, but we'll come back to that in a little bit.
Okay.
All right. Any other retirement accounts other than the Roth and the 2 401ks?
That's it.
Okay. Good. So she's putting 250 in there. Okay. All right. So moving over to the insurance side of it, other than the term policy with us that you have now, any other life insurance?
Yeah, I have some through work. I get 3 times my salary.
3 times salary. Call, what is that?
225.
And are you paying for that?
No.
No?
Yeah, that's the standard. I think we can buy some additional,
Okay.
but I haven't really looked into it.
Sweet. Okay. And that type of policy, if you leave the company, it's gone?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Not too
honestly
sure.
don't know.
Okay. Most of the time that happens, might something you want to take a look at.
Okay.
Because if you can keep it and premiums are still low for you, if you do change jobs,
Yeah.
might be an option to take a look at.
Okay.
Other than that policy through work, anything else?
No, nothing else.
Okay. Gotcha. And Sarah, any accounts through us? or-
She has a term policy through, you know what, I don't even know who it's with, but it's 100,000.
Okay.
She really didn't like the guy from Prudential, so she decided not to go.
Oh, yeah?
Policy. Matt Doxson, that was the guy's name.
Oh, it makes sense. How many people like that guy?
So, yeah, so she went with a different company. I don't remember who it was, but I think we're in the same boat. Hers is going to be expiring here pretty soon. Although I think I don't know the particulars. And then I think she gets 1 or 2 times her salary through
Through
as
work.
well.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay, so we'll go over your term policy here in a second. We'll go over the different options.
Okay.
Another value that I like to add. Do you have your wills taken care of, healthcare proxies?
Yeah, actually, we just got those done. We updated them shortly after the baby was born. So,
Okay,
yeah,
perfect.
shoot there.
Yeah, that's something that people think about doing, but never ever get
My
up
mother
to.
was on me forever, so we just
Good.
got it done. Yeah.
Good job there.
Yep.
Okay, so let's get into your term policies.
Okay.
Blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
So 1 year left on the policy. What most terms you can do is convert it, where you don't have to go through a medical again, and you're locked into that health rating. Unfortunately, with this type of policy, you don't have that conversion privilege.
Okay.
So there's 2 different options, and so I mean you can take out a new term policy, or start a permanent policy where, I mean, are you familiar with how the 2 different works?
Generally.
Generally,
Yeah.
okay. So to give you kind of a quick idea, so term, cheap, set amount of time if you don't pass away, term policy goes away.
Okay.
Permanent policy, you'd be paying a little bit more money up front, but no matter what, as long as you keep paying the premiums, it'll get paid out at some point.
Okay.
So that's kind of how those two works.
Mhm.
I guess, I mean, you have 100,000 of coverage now, 225 through work. How do you feel about that amount of coverage?
It's fair. You know, so I guess the urgency wasn't there, you know, when my salary increased, you know, and I had the 3 times I looked at that and said, you know what, that's about what the mortgages anyway, so,
Okay.
the mortgage would be taken care of, which was the big concern, and, you know, good chunk of money left over for Sarah, and so I think I'm in pretty good shape.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then for Sarah, she has 150 through work.
Yeah.
Coverage for her, so if anything happened to her, how would?
Same thing, I
Same
mean,
thing?
yes, I mean, if she's got the 100, you know, if she's got, you know, call it 2 times salary through work, it's another 160,000. Take care of the mortgage, you know, which is obviously our biggest expense, and that would loosen some things up, so.
Definitely.
Mhm.
Okay. I mean, what I like to do with everyone in your situation where, you know, some life insurance is expiring, you know, how much is, you know, do you feel would be comfortable to have
Mhm.
as far as maybe what you should actually need?
Okay.
And then we can kind of come to a compromise and go from there.
Okay.
So what I do with everyone is just go through a quick life needs analysis. All that means is, you know, there's 3 main reasons for life insurance.
Mhm.
Again, cover your mortgage, cover your debts, final expenses, maybe have a nice funeral, a little celebration after.
Sure.
And then the one that most people don't think about is replacing income. So say, you know, after this meeting, you get into a car accident and you pass away.
Mhm.
Your income's not coming in anymore. So Sarah's only living off of her income.
Right.
Someone's got to take care of the kids if she's going to work.
Right.
So what does that look like?
Yeah, so, not much different, you know, the 2 older ones are in school, my oldest is 13, you know, so they get off the bus together. You know, so there's really no expense for them, as far as, you know, childcare is concerned.
Okay.
The baby, you know, goes to daycare now, so that's, we're paying for that now.
Okay.
So I don't think that, you know, the childcare piece of it anyway, obviously would change too much, you know, and if I'm gone and the mortgage gets paid off and she's got some extra money, it should be good.
Okay.
I think they'll be in good shape.
Okay.
Mhm.
Fair enough.
Okay.
So let's go with a quick life needs analysis,
Mhm.
just to kind of get a ballpark idea of what I would recommend that you should have.
Okay.
And then we can kind of just make it
It's fair.
there. So, say you passed away,
Yep.
what do you think a funeral would cost?
Like 10 grand.
10 grand?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and mortgage paid off, it's 225.
Right.
Okay, you got call your car, so 400,
Yeah, probably 20 grand on the car.
20 grand a car.
Yeah.
Okay. Got your student loan, so 6 grand.
Yeah.
Okay, and then credit card,
Yeah.
that doesn't, probably wouldn't play into it. And then again, replacing your income, so Sarah and yourself are used to bringing in, call it 150, 160
Mhm.
gross. Now if 75,000 is not coming in anymore, you know, you're pretty much cut in half.
Yeah.
As far as an income standpoint.
Mhm.
You know, most people usually, you know, husband's not here, you're not here, mostly live off of, call it, but
70%.
70% of the income, since, you know, you're not eating, you're not expending so
Sure.
much anymore.
Right.
So the need for the income is still there, you got your kids. So most people do is do 70% of the income, so 70% of 75,000, what are you looking at? Call it 50 grand,
Yeah.
would you say that's fair?
Mhm.
Okay, so you're gone, you're dead, 50 grand, how long would you want that 50 grand coming in for Sarah?
Yeah, so I guess I'm missing what you're saying, because, you know, if the debt's paid, right, and all those bills go out the window, I mean, I would think that her salary's probably enough to take care of the rest of what's going on, you know, the rest of what needs to be paid for.
Okay. And if that may be, then honestly, the 225 at work and the 100,000 that you have now, if you feel comfortable with that, then, you know, I would say that then you're in a good situation.
Okay.
Now, the term's going away, so I guess what's the next step? Do you, again, take out another term policy for a certain amount of years, or do you go permanent policy now? You're a little bit older, it's gonna be more expensive than, you know, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we have to come up with a good game plan as far as term or permanent. What are the options?
Yeah.
I guess from a budget standpoint, you're paying how much for the term now?
Like $22 a month.
Okay.
If that, yeah, I think that's what it is.
Okay. So would you say that 100,000 of coverage is the appropriate amount to keep?
Yeah, I think that's probably fair.
Okay. So I guess there's three options. You can go, again, straight term policy again. Again, you won't be paying as much. You can go straight permanent, pay a little bit more, or what most people do is a blend. So you
Okay.
have some term, some permanent. So when the term does expire, you still have that permanent coverage.
Sure.
And you're younger now, so it'll be more expensive down the road.
Okay. I like that idea.
Okay.
Yep.
So why don't I do this? Why don't I put together a couple ideas for you,
Yep.
Run some numbers, and then we'll set up another appointment and kind of go through the different options, and then
Okay.
we'll come up with a good strategy moving
That
forward.
works.
Okay. Before I put that together for you, from a budget standpoint, what are you looking to, you know, maybe carve out as far as this type of planning process?
Yeah, I mean, I can obviously do more than the $22 a month that I'm paying right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I can probably do like up to like $100 a month.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then I'll put together a couple ideas. If it goes a little bit over $100, I'll show it to you if I think it's a good option for you. But we'll kind of play in that range, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
Sound fair?
Sounds good.
Okay. Going back to the retirement idea as well, I know the life insurance, we have to take care of that as
Sure.
soon as possible since it's
Sure.
going to be expiring. But also with retirement, you know, preparing for retirement and saving for the future was a big need of yours. Is that?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, okay. So Sarah, she has an old 401k through her last employer. What most people do is, you know, they have this 401k, they're so used to just, you know, putting money in it when they're working, but when they're not there anymore, it's kind of just sitting there.
Sure.
You know, you're not putting money in it anymore, no one's really watching it for you. So what most people do and what we recommend is to roll it into your own individual retirement account.
Okay.
The reason being is you have a lot more investment options. She probably only has about 15, 20 different investment options. So benefit there, and then also you have total control over it. For example, so say it's a Fidelity 401k. She loves Fidelity. Great funds, been doing great for her, just like you said earlier. Say the company switches to JP Morgan.
Yeah.
They're gonna get a better deal with JP Morgan. You know, they don't really care about their employees staying with Fidelity. The 401k is going to JP Morgan. She doesn't have any say in it.
Sure.
So all those Fidelity funds that she's been loving is gone now.
Okay.
So what I would recommend is to roll it into her own individual account, so she has that control over her own money.
Okay.
So I'll put together a couple ideas for you there as well, and then we'll take care of the life insurance first, and then we'll address that old 401k.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sounds good.
All right.
Cool.
When are you free? Blah blah blah.
Okay. So good.
Yeah.